Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance's Performance Shop along the Star Mopars.com. Sunday evening, and we're out here kind of wrapping some stuff up. Friday night, man, I got home from work and ate supper late because I got home late, and then I was waiting, gonna work out, and the rain hit, and it basically never stopped. And the thing is, it had terrible lightning with it. That day at work, of course, I was absolutely filthy. I was covered in a combination of like dust and cast iron and grinding debris. I mean, it's a thing where you like touch something and, you know, like metal falls off of you. I'm dirty. So like I can't go to sleep like that, right? I just can't. You know, like you lay down and you leave like ashes around yourself, and it really sucked because I didn't get to shower until like 5 a.m., a little bit before 5. And what I did in the meantime, the power, it would flicker kind of on and off, but it never like went out completely. I edited a ton of videos, basically almost everything I have, minus like really old stuff. So that opened up some time here. I'm gonna get this stuff knocked out. So these Koken orders, everything here will tie in with something. I think I'm gonna divide this into 2, possibly 3 tool hauls. But basically, Father's Day, there was a huge sale. I ordered a lot of stuff, one item, I believe it was one item, like kept it like away from me for forever, like over a month, basically like 6 weeks. That part sucked. In the meantime, I actually, for AR, you know, returning the favor for Yuli, the Joy of Tools, and AR, this is an item I picked out for him, right? This is mine, this is the one that I had prior, and what this is just a quarter drive flexible extension that's got really good flex, and then on the end of it, I've put this, a magnetic pickup, if you will, in a socket. It works awesome as a standalone tool. It would also obviously be great, you know, as like a flexible extension, particularly with like the nut grips or something. So when I ordered that for him, I also got another item, and that was around, I think, the July 4th sale. That stuff came in. It was the Father's Day stuff that really slowed it down. And I think that's where we're gonna get going here. So this is an item, believe it or not, that I have wanted for quite a while, and it's always there. It's just kind of too expensive in my opinion. I realize, you know, there's certain brands, certain materials, certain techniques that can contribute to a price jump on these. But with an item like this, my thoughts are sell it as cheap as you can, so you sell as many as you can. Still turn a profit, but it's an item that I would rather see out in the wild with as many people as want it, as opposed to people like myself that want one and then they're like, there's no way I'm paying that. And what we're talking about is part number KO-SHIRT, and in this case, -XL. Now, interesting thing, this is actually, I believe, a new bag. I've never seen one like this. It's kind of cool. So you've got some Zeal series ratchets, you've got the Zeal sockets as well, some spinners. And then the flip side, it's kind of got like the schematic of the socket. So if you have not figured this out, what's inside is, in fact, an extra large t-shirt. But it's not like Koken Japan, it's Koken USA. We're gonna see like if this thing was like double-sided, if it's some like exotic brand I've never heard of, if it's like Gildan or Hanes or something. But that's it. This is the design on the front, and the brand is going to be Gildan Soft Style. So who knows, maybe this is like the most comfortable t-shirt I'll ever wear. But it's $35 standard. That's why I've never bought one. It's a relatively new edition. But in my opinion, like if you sold these for 15 if you can, 20 if that's where you have to be at to turn a profit, or even 25, like 25 is sort of like the threshold in my opinion for a t-shirt. If you really want one, you can pull the trigger. Similarly, you know, if then there's a sale from that price point, you're doing pretty good. 35 is kind of like, maybe I'm like behind the times, but I feel like we're entering hoodie territory, right? Thicker material, longer sleeves, a hood, drawstrings, maybe a zipper, you know, pockets. For a t-shirt, I would much rather this be just whatever it costs, tack on $5 to turn a profit, but get as many of these out in the wild as you can so people see them and they say like, what is Koken? And then the person says, oh, it's these really cool tools from Japan, you should check them out. People that underestimate t-shirts are all over the place. I know, as a guy that runs Mopar clubs, one of the things, you know, you'll be out at an event and you've got your shirt on, and you seldom have people like, hey, what is Koken? You know, tell me about it, or hey, you know, tell me about this car club. I've never heard of it. The thing is, the number of people that saw your t-shirt and then will contact you, send an email, you know, hit you up on social media, say, hey, I'm interested in joining, this is what I've got, I saw some guy in a shirt. And it's like, well, you know, it's probably me, you could have just talked to me there, but, you know, people do their own thing, so maybe they don't directly, you know, like, tell me about Koken, you know, you might have like 1 in 10. And then other people are like, oh, Koken, man, I love that stuff. You'll get a couple of those, but you have the vast majority of people that take no action, but remember it, go home and research it. So in my opinion, you do yourself a huge favor getting as much promotional and marketing materials out as you possibly can. And the way you do that is having a low price point. I'm not saying to give them away. Technically, you could, you know, like if you order 150, 200 bucks, you'll throw in some promotional items, more than stickers. Stickers you can't have on you all the time, right? So whether maybe the shirts are just like super expensive, maybe you find a different person to screen print them, maybe you like switch to a trucker hat, just something to get the word out on your company. It is never a bad thing, even if you're just barely banking off of it. That's my personal opinion, and I have got a lot of first-hand experience with it. The other thing I can say, and I totally get the aesthetic and the price point, maybe this is just that high up where they're located, Massachusetts or something, the backside. So many times, you know, people never look at the front of your shirt, you know, like if you're standing in line, checking out at the grocery store or something, or getting gas, you know, and you turn around and somebody's like, oh, look at that guy over there, it's a Challenger. And then they see, you know, like Emerald Area Mopars on the back or Lone Star Mopars. They're like, whoa, what's that about? You know, so even if it costs more, I would always recommend the backside. That said, the shirt itself does feel soft, seems decent quality. I have no issues with the Gildan. It's screen printed pretty well. It'll probably be sticky the first few times you wear it. You'll probably want to wash it, wear it, wash it again, and let it kind of break in. But it's a cool shirt. I think it looks good. The black works really well. And I will be happy to rock that, especially since I got it on sale, because $35 is too steep for me, right? So, and it's not Koken. This is not a shot at Koken. If KC Tool had $35 t-shirts, I'd hit up Colin and I'd be like, dude, like, you know, just saying, you know, like maybe if you guys could sell those for 20 bucks, you'd ship a ton of them out the door, you know, and people would learn about KC Tool. Stavilla, insert whatever brand you want to, Mopar stuff. There's a lot of times Mopar does like special limited edition shirts, and when the price tag is like $35 range, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. You know, that's stupid. So, like I said, it could just be a regional thing. Maybe, you know, they like the other thing with merch, and you'll see this across the board, you know, like even with the car club. I try to get pre-orders, right? Because I want to know, like, Randy wants a double XL and his wife also wants a shirt, and it turns out he has 3 kids I've never seen that are all getting shirts. And I need to know about that ahead of time. Otherwise, I'm buying large, extra large, and probably some bigger sizes. Maybe I get like 5 mediums in case there's like women or like tiny dudes. And you go to town, but then you're stuck with them. You know, like if you bought like 20 smalls, it might take you 5 to 10 years to move them, and then you're probably gonna have to like give them away or heavily discount them. So I get the liability part of it, but typically large and extra large are relatively safe, and you just kind of have them on hand, right? But like I said, it's something I would like to kind of see more of, and with a competitive price across the board that stands for every brand, every company. It's just a smart thing to do. On that note, this is up next. This sets you back $750, which is, I'm not gonna lie, kind of high too, but again, we got it on sale. To Koken's credit, they do have pretty good sales. This is going to be part number KO-KEYCHAIN, and if you sit there and you're like, last time you spelled out shirt, moron, I know what you did. You just spelled out, and you stop and you think, you're like, wait, what did he say? And you're like, was it keychain? It totally was keychain. This is just one of those things. These are handy to have if you got a lot of toolbox tools, if you got a lot of keys, I should say, duplicate keys. It just helps you keep tabs on them. It's neat to hang around. Magnets, I think, are always underrepresented. But $750 is the price. I'd recommend getting it on sale or just tacking it on, you know, if it gets you free freight or something. Backside is just the whitewash. The front side here, where you can actually read Koken USA, red mirrors what you saw on the t-shirt. I will tell you, it's going to be hard to tell in the camera, but it is scuffed up a lot. That said, I can't be like too mad, because if assuming you're going to use this, it's going to get scuffed up in your pocket pretty bad, right? It's just you'd like to do the scuffing yourself. But cool little promotional item, if I don't say so myself. And again, if you want to like put that on adhesive or a magnet or something, you totally can. You'll have a cool little toolbox cadet, whatever you want to call them. That kind of covers our like cool promotional stuff. You know, who knows if they add stuff in the future, maybe we'll bring some of that in. But I guess it's time to kind of just jump in on this part of the haul. So what we're gonna do is yeah, we'll save an item for later. That's what we'll do. So I'm gonna just throw this down right here. This is something I had wanted, and again, I felt it was too expensive. The sale is the reason that I brought this in. And of course, in true Koken fashion, almost every time I buy something and then it arrives, as soon as it comes in, they make some announcement about some update or a new product. And that's exactly what happened here. This was the most expensive item on this order and the most expensive item off of the other order as well. $133.11 for this. It's part number RS3450A/9. Koken, that's going to be a railed slit. A is going to tell you American. 9 is going to be the number of pieces. If I hold this up, you can kind of see it's 1/4 to 3/4. And if we crack it open, and you don't already know by what you see in that plastic bag, you will now. It's nut grips, and you're like, wait, you have nut grips. Like, aren't these nut grips? Well, these are in fact nut grips, and I liked these so well, I bought a couple of them. This is the metric set, 7 to 14. I should have grabbed the other one. I guess I have it misplaced, but 1/4 to 3/4. The catch is, this is, as you should be able to tell looking down the barrel, 3/8 drive. Okay, so 1/4 drive, in my opinion, is actually a great place to start, because you can come in and pair it with something like this or with a bit driver, and you can turn it into kind of like your custom set of nut drivers, right? It just works really well. The set here, 9 pieces for $133, you could argue like, oh, that's not too bad. It's like 13-ish, over 13 bucks a socket. You know, not terrible since it has special features in it. And I'll give you that, but what really sucked is right about the time this showed up, you know, a week or two ago, by gosh, they came out with the announcement you can buy these individually. So, story of my life, that's just anytime I order Koken and it comes in, like, they do something else. And as much as that's often to my demise or, you know, cost me, it's also sort of cool, because now if you have the 1/4 drive set and you want to overlap some of it, you can, but you don't have to go all the way down. And similarly, like if you just want 1/2 and 9/16 with 3/8 drive and you want 3/4 because that's all you would use, you can standalone piecemeal those together. Then you could combine it with your 1/4 drive, have a comprehensive set, and it's sized just the way you want it. But for what it's worth, we wound up with the whole shebang. If you're curious how these work, we'll just grab the 3/4, because A, we've never seen it in this size, and B, it'll give you the easiest visuals. So things I love about Koken, they orient the sockets the way I would. You got the branding, you got the size, Koken, you've got all the particulars there. And then if you look at it, you'll see sort of like this steel spring, right? Spring steel. And then we've got the ball detent, the retainer. And what this would do, if we had 1/2-inch hardware up here, we could put that in place and it would actually nestle it, right? It would keep it locked in. So this cap screw, by gosh, is actually... it's a bad example because I don't have anything 1/2-inch here to thread her out with, I don't think. But basically, instead of it just falling out like that, when this is in, that wedges it into position. I guess I can probably get it out, but see the difference? If you have 1/2-13 anything handy, this would thread in and you could pull it out and it'd be a great demo. I have a lot of 3/8 threaded stuff sitting around here, but not 1/2, so... that's a bit of a problem, but it gives you the demonstration, because under a dash in a tight fitting area, going like way down in an electrical installation, whatever you have that's unique to your applications, this keeps you from losing the fastener. This puts it in prime position to do well for you. There's a little go-kart. I've got the screen up. It's really humid here today, but so if you hear extra noise, that's why. But this is a great example. In a regular socket, this drops out. You're frustrated, you lose it, it falls in your face and smacks you. It goes down, you have to retrieve it with something like this. You know, the whole 9 yards, but it's just a super, super efficient way to make this stuff happen. So I don't know that the twin grips can get a Yeah, they're a little too wide, dadgum. We'll have to get some needle nose. Let's see if we can extract it. Again, 1/2-inch thread is, there we go. Trusty old channel locks got her done for me. But like I said, perfect demonstration. I would have had a bolt here. We could have turned that sucker free. So that is what we picked up on that front, and I'll go over the overlap in just a second. But before I do, we're going to move on to the next item, and it's going to be right here. Let me make sure I grab the right one. There's actually 2 of these, and I'll just throw them down for you. I have liked the 6-point Koken sockets so well, 1/4 to 3/4. I've had such good luck with them. They're at such a stupid good buy, especially the shallows. They're at such a good price point. I thought, man, you know, I should have gotten 12-point, because of course, inevitably, I've been doing things where it's like awkward access, you know, and 12-point would be better. I preach it all the time. I stand by what I say. But if we come in and we start with part number RS3405A/9, that is going to be what's in my hand right here, not on the table, but in my hand. And if you can tell, that's going to be 3/8 drive, shallow. It's going to be 1/4 to 3/4. Price point on this, $53.76. Okay, this is like stupid good deals. This is less than $6 a socket. And again, I haven't owned them a long time, but I've used them since I've had them, and I've been nothing but impressed with the Koken sockets. I also like the finish out on them. The main thing is just the price point is just spot on, especially in the shallow sizes. It's very hard to get quality 9-piece socket set, 1/4 to 3/4 with no skips. Okay, 9 pieces with a rail for $53. Good luck with that. Okay, if this is something you're like, well, I can piece that together at Harbor Freight. You can, but you're going to wind up like buying way more than you wanted or needed, and you're going to have like a ratchet packed with it or a whole socket set. It's very hard to just like, I want 3/8 shallow 12-point, you know, and you can do that on the tool truck, but you're going to pay. You can piece it together, you know, with exotic brands, but you're going to pay. This is just a deal. 53 is just, wow. You know? So if you're ever on the fence, you want to try Koken, my advice, you know, grab a ratchet. This, you can't really go wrong, especially if you use 1/4 drive a lot. That flex extension, add the magnet. I would get a wobble fix extension, and I would just throw on some sockets, whether they're the nut grip, you get a feel for the sockets that way. Or if you just want like a railed set to throw in a bag or something, boom, here you go. We'll just come in again 3/4 because it's easy to see. They've sort of got like a polished upper and then a matte bottom. That's kind of like a Hazette styling, if you will. They look really good. The thing is, it's just there's such a value. That's kind of why you see these brought in. And again, factor in that I got these on a sale, and it's kind of like, wow, you know, somebody did pretty good there. So I think the Father's Day sale, I want to say, was 20%. So that's a good chunk of change right there. I mean, you're getting these knocked down, you know, we just call them $50 and they're 20% off. That's going to be $20. That's a lot. You know, that is an awful lot there. So coming in, this right here, if you're thinking like, oh, you got the deeps, that's what you did with you got those little 6 points over there. You did the deep and the shallow. Okay, it's no surprise. Nope, these are not deep. And you're thinking like, what, they look bigger than those? That's right, they are the semi-deep. I finally, after all this time, we've pieced together an actual semi-deep set, and I went 12-point here. The part number is going to be RS3305XA9. Anytime you see that X, it's typically going to be semi-deep. These do ratchet the price point up quite a bit. They go from $53 for that. Going semi-deep, you jump up all the way to $144, which kind of sucks. You know, I think, if I remember right, these are pretty much the same price or just barely under what deeps would be. And you think, well, you're getting more material, it's a better value. I totally agree. I'd sort of like to see a semi-deep match with a semi-deep price point. All right, so let's just in theory say that these are $50 for the railed set, and the deeps we'll just jump up to $120. That's a $70 difference. We're splitting hairs here. Let's go 35, make this 85. I would just feel better about it personally, but I'm sure they have their logic. It's probably a deal where the material costs and the machining, it just factors out that way. But this is going to be nice because now what we've done, we have the shallows, which in 12-point, you know, going accessibility, I'm able to kind of piece this stuff together with a set of extensions, the wobble fix and everything. We can kind of make that happen. And then with the semi-deep, we have something that's a little bit more diverse than the deeps. Obviously, eventually, we could get the deep 12-point, and we could get semi-deep in 6. Who knows? But for me, 12-point is still a big deal. Number one, 12-point fasteners. And number two, square stock. I say it all the time. The other thing, from a practical standpoint, and you hear me preach this over and over again, even though no one else seems to recognize this as an important aspect. If you try to take this 3/4 socket and you want to land it on a 1/2-inch fastener, you have to, if you miss, you have to come back and then you have to clock it and try and try and try. This doubles your chances. For those stupid, awkward, uncomfortable situations where you're on a creeper and you have like two 18-inch extensions cobbled together with a swivel and a universal, 12-point fasten sockets will save time. And I'm not concerned, like, oh, it's going to round it out. No. If you put them on an impact and stuff, maybe you do that a little more frequently. But if you're turning something by hand, the way sockets are designed anymore, I mean, these have, the wave drive, flank drive, whatever, where they're cut out, they grab the flats. 12-point does the same thing. They didn't just neglect that. The technologies have changed. They grab by the flats. You don't round the corners off. It's just a good setup. You don't have to take my word for it. You can get a 12-point socket and try it, experience it for yourself, even if it's just that odd deal. You're down there and you've got that last bell housing bolt, and you're like, God, I can't get this thing on there. Try a 12-point. You probably have it in your old Craftsman starter set, and they were in there for a reason. But it's funny how, one person comes up with like, oh, 6 points better, 12 points sucks, rounds everything off, and then everyone runs with it. And it's just like, it's taken as the gospel. No one thinks for themselves, and no one dares to speak out against the anointed ones and their, spectacular advice. It's like, I come from experience. If I can see the fastener and get to it and I'm using an impact, I want 6-point, absolutely. But if I'm working in like occluded spaces or tight reaches or limited access, I prefer 12. It's what I've always done. It's what I'll always do. People can laugh me to scorn, ridicule me. I just don't care. I've got the experience to back it up. 12-point is the way that I'm going to continue to go. So if you got 12-point sockets, knock the dust off of them, put them in use, and who knows, maybe some of you will agree with me. But that is that. There's some other items we could add on, but I kind of think it'll make two pretty nice tool hauls for us. And you know what? We got one more thing. We're going to do one more item here because we'll spend a little more time in that next setup. This is going to be part number 168 CS-2X6. It's going to set you back 1505. And I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty excited about this one. What is a tool haul? What are all these tool hauls doing strung together without a screwdriver? And if you're curious, yep, this thing is in orange. It looks just as good as you think it does. It's probably going to go into the Master Tech from US General. And what it is, it's pretty unique because it's a number 2 Phillips, which obviously we're going to use a lot. Check this out. It's kind of, there's no magnet. It's almost just like a suction fit. I know that's blurry, just be patient. And there's your slotted. So it's sort of like the best of both worlds in a stubby form factor. Feels really good in hand. You've got a nice spin zone. You've got the textured pads for grip. Just a solid all-around little purchase. I am not sure that you can get other bits for it. That would be a big selling point. But it's a stubby little Koken. It's a little big for the stubby side, but it's going to give you way better access than you would with the standard driver. It's got anti-roll on it. It's very lightweight. Feels good in hand. $15 on sale. I'm not going to pass that up. So that is what we have for now. This was sort of our highlight here. I'll come in and kind of showcase this for you. We'll grab... Will I? Jeez. We'll get the semi-deep here. This is, again, 3/4 deep, 3/4 semi. And then if I rip this guy off, we've got the 3/4 shallow. So it's going to be real hard to get these flat anywhere on here. But this gives you a good feel for what you would be looking at. And you can kind of see, the shallow is going to be good, the deep's going to be good. Semi is just sort of that middle ground there. And since we have 6-point deep, I decided to spice it up and we just go with the semi-deeps. I'll kind of test them out, see if I like them, see if I think it's worth spinning out. getting them in 6-point, or if we're stupid and we should have just gone deep 12-point. It could be either way. It's 50-50 at this point in time, but the semi-deeps are there. And as somebody that like didn't have semi-deep stuff, it's just kind of, it seems like the exotic choice, if you will. So that's what I'm going with. That's my justification there. So with that said, this is what we brought in. Again, we've got another one. I'm going to follow up on the heels of this one. I think you'll enjoy it as well, and you can probably, maybe some of this stuff tips you off. You're like, you got ratchets there and you didn't do anything with them. Well, we didn't, because I wasn't sure what I was going to throw down and in what order. And you see some extensions, you're like, hey, you didn't really do anything with those either. I will just tell you to have faith, good things are coming. But with that said, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all three at LoneStarMopars.com. If you've used any of this, let me know your thoughts. If you have this, if you want this, what you think of the merch, you know, like price points and everything, availability. If you bought the 3/8 nut grips only to come in and see that they've expanded them, and you can buy them individually and you're kicking yourself, let me know. But yeah, next video I'll grab those and we'll kind of cover them there because it'll tie in with that as well. But let me know your thoughts on semi-deep versus shallow versus deep, which route you would go and why, if you would intermix it like I did, or if you just do all three all the time, or if you just strictly do, you know, shallow and deep and you don't find any need for the semis, or if the other option here, semi-deep is so versatile you just buy it and you eliminate shallow and deep. It could go any of those directions, and I'm curious to see your thoughts on them. With that said, a good one is coming right up. I hope I catch you back for that one here in a couple of weeks. It's probably when you'll see it from this one. But yeah, end of July here, Father's Day stuff showed up. We got it cranked out. I'm going to call it a day. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. With that said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here next Saturday.